Good evening everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are going to be doing a base game build as our new pack has just been released again, but I feel really bad for all the people that maybe don't have enough money to be able to buy the new pack, so I want to just give out to those people and say we can still make amazing things just using the base game. So today I'm going to be building the cutest house that I possibly can only using base game. I think this is going to be super cute. I want to use like different tones of like whites and maybe pinks just to make it really pop and look super cute. I like to think of myself as being a bit more alternative and a bit darker in a lot of the builds that I make, so I think it would be really good to make something that is definitely less rustic and a little bit more cutesy pop. So let's crack on and see what we're able to build today. So I'm going to start out by just laying out the floor plan and then we can go from there, and I think I'm going to lay out the floor plan and then we can go to the outside of the house and start decorating that, and then we'll move inside afterwards. I think I'm going to go with like a slightly smaller build. This kind of size kind of works for our downstairs. I'm going to split the whole thing off with the actual stairs, which I think we can just kind of have running through the middle like this. That's then going to separate our living area and our kitchen and dining area. I might wiggle some things around afterwards, but I think that's fine for now. Then I think something like this for our upstairs. I do want there to be a big gap so that we can look down onto the living room, just because I think that makes it look kind of cute and a bit more modern. And then maybe we have a third floor for our bathroom just as a bit further away. But I think for this one we can do some sort of curved stairs instead. So I think that looks pretty good. I have made it just slightly larger. I might do some sort of balconies on this front section over on this side, just to kind of change up the shape a little bit as we are getting a little bit bigger. I wanted it to be kind of small, but I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll work it out. This will all be fencing so that we can look over this living space. So I think that's kind of cute at the minute. And we do have this kind of funky archway down here, which I can make look a bit better as well. And then I think that's where we're going to have our bathroom right at the top. We've got a little hallway, and then we just walk straight into it at the top there. Okay, so it's a bit of a weird shape, but I think that it's a bit more unique than the normal sort of houses that we would have. I just want it to make it, because we're using just base game, I want it to look like super cute and still unique. I don't want it to just kind of look like any old sort of normal cottage. So I do want to add in those different features like this sort of more unique shaping and the open sort of living area as well. Then going to build into this part of the house where I think we should have maybe an archway right at the front just to make it look a bit cuter. Maybe only do it by like 3 though, just because I don't want to get in the way of these stairs over here. Even have that be our little walkway out. I think it might actually be good to also have a little bathroom just on the ground floor. So I might just put one coming off of our kitchen over here. Or we can have it coming off of the living room, which might actually make a little bit more sense. Actually, yeah, we'll do it coming off of here, and then I'll add a little balcony on there. I think that'll look really cute. So then I think I need to go in and just work out our placements for things like the actual walls and all of these pillars that I'm kind of picturing. So obviously if we go through, do packs, base game, we then got all of these to be able to play with. I'm also going to do some of these just to make it look a little bit cuter. Something like this I think would work quite well. At the moment, everything that I'm going to be doing is going to be in white, so I'm just going to select white as well for that so that we only have the white tones. Then I think these are my kind of favourite ones. This one's a little bit too rustic. I think this one might be a little bit better. We're then going to use that on all the areas where we're going to have a gap. This is fine. I'm going to do this top section is also going to be just like a little balcony, so I'm going to add these in here as well. We'll just add them to those edges. In the front, I'm going to do the same thing. I think I like this as our little trim bit as well, especially because when there's only 2, it really looks like so good because it just makes this little archway. I'm now rethinking these little pillars just because I think they look a bit too thick. I think maybe something a bit thinner will be a bit better. It's making the house look a little bit too grand. I think it needs to be a bit simpler and a bit more like cutesy if it's a bit smaller. Something like that one actually works a little bit better, this nice little wooden one. I know I said it looked a little bit too rustic, but I think it does work better because it's smaller. And it seems to link up better when I'm doing multiple, like one above the other. Okay, I think I'm going to use this fencing for all of our edges to our balconies. It just kind of matches with the pillars that we've already used, and I think it definitely has that more cute feeling to it. I'm using a lot of texture in these designs as well, especially with this trim here and the actual balcony, just to make it look a bit more exciting. Okay, I'm going to change these just because I think they look a little bit too sharp. I'm trying to do like sort of round designs. So I want big pink doors right at the front, so something like, oh, to be fair, even that would kind of work, just 'cause it's got that big open feeling. But I think maybe this one's kind of cute. It's a bit more modern looking though. Do really like these ones. They're a little bit more rustic, which is kind of unfortunate because I wanted it to be a sort of a clean look. Something like that one kind of works. Might change it later, but let's just sort out the roof first so I have the sort of colours that I want to go off of. I'm just trying to work out what kind of roof to do on this little section here. I think this is looking pretty good so far. I've just added these little bits of roofs in, just trying to match it up to where we've got these little fences. I think we can also tilt them a little bit just to make them a bit softer, like that, and that's just going to make it look a bit cuter. Okay, I've added in some walls. I think it looks very cute now. Starting to look like a little bit more cutesy. I think it didn't look like super cute before, but now I think it looks much better. I think the back's looking a bit lackluster, but I will add some more bits to it in a moment. Here now I'm going to dive in and do some of our windows. I think this is really going to what is going to like make it proper pop. I want like big windows for this, just that it lets in loads of natural lighting. As we do have this very sort of open plan inside, I think it would look really good with those big windows. I think they look pretty good. I like the different panes and it matches as well with the door that we picked downstairs. Then going to pick this cute little window as well for our roof, just because it kind of looks a bit like a flower. I think it looks kind of cute. Because we do have these big balconies, we can do these ones with the little shutters as well. But I don't really want to make them look too... I think there's a bit too much going on. I would rather it actually be a bit more simple maybe. Something like this probably works a bit better. Yeah, that looks nice. I think for our downstairs bathroom, we use the same little sort of flower looking one as well. I do think this whole wall, especially this side, needs like just a bunch of like ivy or something. But obviously because this is base game, it's going to be a bit difficult to get that ivy. So I'm going to see whether we can get it in debug. So there is a few sort of bits of ivy that I can find. It's basically these ones here and these three. We should be able to make something out of this, especially because we do have this nice like hanging one as well, which should look really nice hanging off of our roofs. So what I'll do is I'll hang that off of this top roof here. Something like that kind of works. Maybe I'll drop it down one more. Then I can just slowly add in our ivy. So this is just going to sort of crawl up the wall here. Obviously this isn't going to be as good as the normal ivy that I would make, just because it's not the same kind of thing. Just got to make sure it's not going through to our rooms, so it looks fine so far. I think this one kind of pulls away from the wall, so I actually think like this one and maybe this one might be better. It's going to be quite thick ivy, I think. Okay, it's taking a while, but we are slowly getting there in actually making our ivy. I think it actually looks really good. I think the differences between what I normally do with ivy and this debug one is that this actually uses a lot of flowers, which I think works really well for our more cutesy sort of style that we're going for here. And I think that does make it a bit nice because it's different from what we normally do. And this is taking a while because I have to keep checking inside the house to make sure that it's not like making it so it looks really ugly on the inside by putting random leaves. That I can kind of deal with. It doesn't look so bad, but I think that looks pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I think I want to just drag it a little bit more up here, but then I think I'm pretty good with that as being our ivy. It definitely looks more unique than normal. Part of me still wants to drag it a little bit higher just so that it's on that roof a bit more, but I think it kind of looks fine. I think I'm just going to do like one more on this second floor here, just to take it up there. I think that looks really cool. Definitely looks better than just leaving it blank like we did before. I think I kind of want to do some on this side as well, just to make it so it's a bit more symmetrical. There we go. I'm really happy with that. I think that looks really cool for our back garden. It's a bit different than the front. It just makes it look a bit more natural. I think I don't really need these bits on there just because we do have it on the other side and it makes more sense there. Now I think we've kind of finished that general area. Let's have a quick look and see if there's any plants we can add to the top of the house, and then I'm going to move on to the grounds and the back garden. I think I don't want to do a massive amount, but I think this probably looks okay on this side. I think we can add like a few little ones just around this section. There we go. I think that looks pretty cute. So then let's move on to finally the ground. So we've got the front of the house and the back of the house to do. Raise it up a little bit just to add a bit of foundation, just because I think that'll give it a little bit more shape. I think I'm going to add like this cute little swirly fencing in just on these sections here at the front, just because I think that looks really cute, and we don't need a full fence at this front section anyway, so it should be fine. I might use this little fencing somewhere else as well. Maybe we could add it just at this front section and we can add some plants down below. Or maybe I'll add the plants first. We'll work out what we're going to do down there. Then I think we can just do a nice little wood decking all the way around our edges. And of course in this little back section as well. Then I want to add lots of plants to the front of the house just for even more decoration, and so it matches with the plants that we've got around the back. So I think those two little ones are cute. We should have some lighting next to this door as well. I think these ones work quite well. So I'm thinking to make it look a bit more modern, we use this kind of flooring for our tiles leading around the house. Do like this very white one here, it just kind of makes it look a bit nicer. Or we could do that as maybe our walk up towards the front. The only issue I have with it is it does look very intense. It's very bright. There's another option we could do, which is this brown one, which looks a little bit more desaturated, which works I think a bit more with the roof. I think it does have that slightly pink tone as well, which also works. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit nicer. There we go. That actually looks so much better. I really like that. We do then want to just add some plants in the front section here. And these I just want to be like tones of white and pink. So maybe we'll just add, I'll try and do it like not really symmetrical. Otherwise I think it'll look a bit funny. I think that looks pretty good. We can then go ahead and just add some more decorations to these front sections. Just add some trees. I might even add a little pond maybe on this side. If we just do a really tiny one just here. Add a little tree next to it. We do also have these pink trees, which actually make it really perfect just because of that colour. So we can add them to the front. Unfortunately, they are both really big trees, so they kind of take up like quite a lot of space. So maybe actually, I like that tree, but maybe we put that on this side and we do a slightly smaller one on the other side so we can actually still see that little pond. Something like this would work, or I feel like a slightly lighter tree would be better. Something like that works. And then go ahead and add in our pond details as well. So I'm just going to add some little plants to basically just the outskirts of the pond. We can add in some of these little sort of reed looking things as well. I think that's probably a bit too big actually, like that. And then I'm going to add in some little rocks too. And that's just going to make it feel a little bit more natural, like it was not built. I'm just going to change, I might change the water as well, just I'm really not a fan of that original like chlorinated pool water look. We've got a pond scum one, but that doesn't look very nice. I kind of do like the one that's got like loads of leaves in it. Or we've got this one, which is just a bit greener. I think I'm going to go with the leaf one just because it looks a bit nicer. I'm then also going to go ahead and add in some dirt just around that pond, again, to just make it look a bit more natural. I'm going to use the dirt from here. And I'm just going to add that just around the edges with a soft brush. I'm also going to do that just underneath this tree that we've got over here. And I'm also going to add in some plants underneath that tree as well. I think I'll add this little bush. So that's looking really cute for the front of our house. We can then go ahead and do the back garden. I don't want to do like a huge amount to this back section, but I think we do just want to add in a few little bits just to make it kind of pop with that cuteness. I think I do want to like section it off a little bit, so maybe we use this small fence. I do think this fence is just like really cute. Actually, are there any other fences that maybe come slightly higher, just because I feel like that's maybe a little bit too low? Do have these ones. These ones are pretty cute as well, and they do come a bit higher, so that's probably a bit better to use, to be fair. I think we want to do that same thing again, where we're just kind of adding a few trees around the back garden, just so that it also feels a bit more private. So I think we maybe add another one of those big pink ones. I'll just add it there. Have another one of those white ones just around the corner. Then maybe we just add one of these as well on this side. Then I think we use that same flooring that we used around the front on our back garden. I think it was this one. Then I just want a bunch of potted plants out here and then some seating as well. I think these seats look particularly comfortable. I was going to go with just like a more basic one, but I think that this one looks just a little bit cuter. And the colour palettes with the pillows and everything as well just make it look cuter as well. So we'll just do a couple of seats. I'll then do maybe like a little table. We can then put some decorations and things on there as well. You can even pick this one that's got like the pink going along it as so it fits in with our theme. Got this cute barbecue as well that we can just add maybe over in this corner. And I think we'll even add some little plant pots so that they can grow things in this garden. Okay, I've also added in some lighting, so let's see how that looks when it gets to nighttime. Yeah, still plenty of light so people can go out in the back garden if they wanted to for an evening barbecue. Maybe we need some more lighting actually just going down this little front section as it's quite dark. We could maybe add one either side of this front walkway and maybe a couple right at the end as well. I think maybe we could do with some underlighting underneath these arches as well, just because they look a little bit dark. Yeah, that's looking better. Let's do maybe one under here as well. And there we go, that's looking better. I think that's all sorted then for our outside. We can then finally move on to the inside of our house, which I think should be really good to decorate because we've given ourselves like plenty of space. It still feels like quite a small home from the outside, but we've got lots of space on the inside. So the first thing I might do is actually split up these two areas a little bit. I think maybe we can just do it like that. That's then going to allow us to put in a little archway or something there, and it's going to feel a little bit nicer. I do like the fact that it immediately walks straight into our sort of living space, so I am going to leave that, especially with this open stairs. I just think that looks really nice. So I kind of like the idea of a rounded archway just to keep that soft vibe going, because you want just like white stairs. So I think these nice little wooden white stairs work well for this. I'm thinking we actually change it up though and do this one for these stairs so that they're actually open. And that then gives us a bit more space. Obviously we do have this thing in the way, but I think I'm going to put a wardrobe or a set of drawers there anyway, so it shouldn't actually matter. Obviously we wanted a sort of like short fence or something going all the way around this section just to open it up a bit, so let's add that in. I think this one's quite cute just because it does have those little balls on the edges, which I think make it look a bit nicer. And it's also the perfect height for that, which is a bit scary because obviously you could just walk straight over that edge, but I think it's fine. Obviously part of me is thinking that we might need some kind of beam for support there, so I might add this little beam in, or we could do the same one that we did outside, but I just think that doesn't really look as nice. I think we just go with the square one instead. Actually, alternatively, we do have this one which looks kind of cool, so I might use that one. Or we have this one which is actually like a little bit softer. It doesn't have as many patterns. I think that one actually looks a little bit better, and it still goes quite well with our top section too. So I'm thinking I would like a board at the bottom of this one, so I'm thinking something like this, or we have the one that is actually patterned, and I think the pattern one is really cute, so I think I'm going to go with that. I actually did just realise I can move up the stairs a little bit, and that'll actually give us more space here, so I might do that instead. I then feel like I don't really, like this doesn't really sit just like randomly in the middle of the room, which I felt like it was doing before, and it just kind of looked really off. For our kitchen, I absolutely love this checkered pink colour. I just think it looks like super cute, and it's got that nice white trim to it that fits in with the rest of the design, so I think I'm going to go with that one for our kitchen and our dining space. And I'm contemplating whether this is actually a usable space. I didn't plan on using it originally, but I feel like maybe we could put a fridge in there or something, and we could actually use it. So I'll contemplate that when we get onto our kit. I'm also contemplating having a slightly different flooring here that then transitions into a nice like sort of white fluffy carpet. We do have this new carpet which I haven't really seen before, so I think it definitely must be a new one that they've added in sort of recently. Or we have this carpet. I'm actually not a big fan of this one. I think the new one that they've brought in actually looks really nice, so I might just use that one. Or I guess like that one's a bit more of a cleaner design than this one, so it depends on whether I'm kind of going for clean or not. I do kind of like the more clean design of like look of this one, so I might go with that. Or we could even go with the patterned version of this, but I think that goes a little bit too sort of older style. Then we can kind of cut it off there so it looks a bit different. I think that actually looks pretty good. We've got like a sort of sectioning going on so that you're not immediately walking into carpet, which would be really rubbish. And it kind of makes this into its own little space, even though it's open up over here. I think then we can just have sort of white tiling in our kitchen space. I think we can do this sort of cute pink dot tiling in the bathroom downstairs with this sort of pink look of the walls. So that's all of our walls and floors downstairs. We can then move upstairs, and obviously part of this issue is I'm going to have to match up somehow the walls, which I don't know if that's actually possible because I don't think that there's one of these that doesn't have a trim on it. But let's have a look and see if there is. There is colours that are like mildly similar. So I could just kind of match that pink tone so it doesn't look as weird. Alternatively, we actually have that white strip that goes all the way around. It doesn't look super weird, but obviously it'd have been better if it didn't have it there. But I think it's fine. It doesn't look too bad. Then I think maybe we can actually mix up the colours a little bit and we can actually have this sort of blue tone as our bedroom, and that just changes it up so that it's actually got an extra colour in there. Might contemplate changing that later when we actually go onto the bedroom, but that's basically the idea that I've got for it. I think obviously we do want that carpet in there as well, so I'll use the same carpet that we had downstairs. Then I think we can go with a nice pink again in the upstairs bathroom, but I think this time we can maybe go with a slightly different coloured tile, like maybe something like blue. I think if that was a slightly lighter blue, I think it'd look nicer. Let's see if we can get like a lighter shade of blue. I think it'd look really nice. We could also do the blue little dots again, which I think actually that looks really cute, so I might just go with that. So I'm kind of going like mostly pink, but then we're doing a little accents of different colours throughout. I think this shade of blue is actually just a little bit off, so I think it would look nicer if it was slightly different. So I think maybe I'll just change it back to pink for now. I do like the pink little flowers, so I think we'll keep that, just because I think the blue did just look a bit odd. But we can add in touches of blue in all of the accents anyway, so it's fine. Then obviously for our doors, I do like the slightly more round designs just because I think they look a bit cuter. I'm going to add one in over here for our downstairs bathroom. Then upstairs, obviously we've got the one that takes us into the toilets. Just add that in here. Then I realized that I didn't actually add in like balcony doors here, which I think we could do because obviously that is a usable space, but I don't want it to look too different from the other windows that we've got on the other side, because then it'll just look a bit odd. So let's see if this like stands out a bit too much at the front of the house. I don't know why for some reason it's picked to do these horrible like black handles, because I just feel like it completely ruins the design. I'm actually curious whether just adding two of these right next to each other would actually look better. Okay, so weirdly that fits in more with the design that we've gone with because it doesn't have those horrible black handles. So I think we'll just go with that as our like balcony doors instead. Then obviously we need some lighting throughout this place because at the moment we're not even seeing these gorgeous pink tones. We need some lighting, which is just going to really make all of those tones pop. So we do have these ambient ceiling lights, which will just give us some lighting without really having to actually add anything. And I think that will help because we don't really have to then think about all of the different looks of the lightings that we've got around. I can just add one of those there and that lights up like a lot of our top section. We can then go ahead and add in some more little lights sort of scattered around here. It also depends on whether we want like a more colder light. I could alternatively just use these little lights, which I actually really like these because you can just make them really tiny and then you literally don't even see that they're there. I'm the kind of person that like, if I was playing the game, I don't want to see lights as I'm like rotating around the house, so I would rather just have them be as small as possible so I literally can't see them. And as you can see, they light up so much of the room as well. I'm literally going to just add one over this side and we're going to add one into our bedroom as well, like all the way over here. Otherwise it will be too bright, I think. But I think to make it cute, we kind of do need that brightness there. Otherwise, we're not really going to be able to see all of the different textures and designs and everything in it. So I'm just going to add a few of these just sort of scattered around. I think that's a good amount of brightness. It flows through the house as well. We can then add another couple up here, in there, and in the bathroom. There we go. So it's already looking so much better. We can then go ahead and finally start furnishing this house. I think it is looking really good at the moment though. So weirdly with base game, furnishing is actually the part I find the most difficult. I feel like you can get a lot of the other items from debug, such as the ivy and any other little bits of designs. Like, I feel like it's much easier to design the outside of the house in debug and look good than to actually fill out the inside of the house. But I think that's partly because I really like clutter, and you really can't get a lot of clutter when it comes to in like base game. Okay, so obviously the first thing that we come across is our entrance hallway. It would be good if we can get some clothing and like some shelving and things, like something that you would hang your coats on and stuff like that just as you first enter the house. So for that, obviously we do have these little shoe racks and the little coat and hat, which work perfectly there. We do also have a coat rack, which we can include on this side. And I normally like to include a mirror just right next to the door, just so that you can check yourself before you leave the house. So I think that's pretty good for entrance. I think I might include like a little rug or something as well, just as you enter. There is like this little pink rug, which works really well in this space. I think then finally I just want to add in like a little picture over on this side. Just something small that adds a bit of decoration into this hallway. I think this one's kind of cute. We can then move on to our living space. So obviously we have a lot of space here. I'm thinking we can have our TV over on this side, and then we can maybe have like a little seating area for reading over on the other side. So with the objects in this place, that's really where we're going to be adding in a bit more color. I don't just want to pick like white for everything if I can help it. Obviously some things are like you can't really get them in sort of nice colors. Like the only pink I can get in this one is this really neon color, which I'm not a big fan of. We can get this cute little pink chest though, which is absolutely adorable, so I'm definitely going to be using that one. We can then go ahead and put our TV. I want a white TV, but I actually want one that doesn't have these big speakers on the side, just because I think it's a bit cuter. I'm going to use this one and just size it up, and it'll still work as the normal TV, which is quite good as well. I'm absolutely in love with this plant as well, so I'm just going to add this into the corner of the room. It shouldn't stick out too badly, as we do have all of that ivy on the other side as well, so that'll still work. I like this cute little pink clock as well, so I think I'm just going to place that there so that you can still see it in the room. Now, because we've unlocked some of the locked items, we do have this one which you get at level 5 of the Tech Guru career, and I think this is actually such a nice sofa. It's so much more comfortable looking than a lot of the other ones, so I do want to use this one. It doesn't come in pink, but that's fine. We can get it in this sort of nice orangey colour instead. I actually want to have a quick look and see if we can get a 2-seater version. If not, it's fine, because we can still fit that in there quite well and still be able to see the TV. We can't, but I think I do prefer that one, so I would much rather keep that. The good thing is that we can also add some pillows as well, just onto the actual sofa, and that's going to make it look a little bit nicer. And it's also going to bring in some of those other colours as well of the room. There we go, and that's already looking so much better. It's a shame that we can't get the actual sofa in pink. We can actually lighten it, which maybe actually the lighter version does look a little bit nicer. I then want a rug as well, just in the middle here. And part of me does, because it's really cute, just want to add in some random plushies around this space as well, as obviously this is sort of the space where you'd want to be comfortable. This is actually such a cute rug. I'm so tempted to actually put this as the rug that we have in here. It's obviously a little bit like softer and a bit more childy, but I just think it looks like really cute. There's a few other ones as well that I think would also work. Basically any of these like sort of cute, Kinder-made cute area rugs just look absolutely adorable and fit in with the same kind of vibe of the room. I think I'm going to go with this cute little cloud one, but just flip it around so it's facing towards where you walk in. I actually do like this little section that we've ended up making where the TV sits under. It just feels like a little bit more private and a little bit more unique than just having the TV just be pressed up against a wall with nothing else above it. Obviously the alternative as well is that I could actually flip them round and we could have the TV against that wall, but I kind of prefer the TV being here. Then need a little side table. I think I'm going to go with this one. Now, the only issue is that the only sort of pastel colour one that they have... Oh no, they do have it in pink. It does bring in a slight brown, but it's only really underneath, so you can't really see it that well, so that's fine. I do want some little bits of clutter on there, so I think maybe we just add in a little tissue box, maybe a picture as well, just coming off there, and then we can also add in some books. I think that looks pretty good. I just like that slightly more cluttered look. Obviously, if we look at the overall size of the room, it's very big. I am contemplating putting some pictures and stuff here. We wouldn't really have a lot going on around the walls, though, is the only issue, like upstairs. I'm part tempted just to add in, like, get rid of that main big light and just add in all of these, just because these actually will give a bit more design to upstairs. So let's see how that would look if we did that. We can then just sort of add them scattered around this top section, like that. I actually feel like that does look a little bit better. It adds more design to the upstairs, which we didn't really have before. I then think we can then maybe add some pictures to this back section. Another issue that I'm finding with using Basegame is that I'm struggling to actually find some nice pictures. I think maybe it would be good if The Sims, like EA, did actually add like a few more pictures that we can have. There is some that obviously you unlock as well, which is more helpful. I just want to find some cute pictures that go with the colour scheme that we're going with. I think this Pride one is actually really cute. It goes with, like, it's a bit too bright, but it does still kind of fit with the same colour schemes that we're going with. And obviously because it is using all those different colours as well, it fits in with basically an environment. So then we can go over to this section where this is going to be our reading section. So I want there to be a couple of armchairs, and then I want there to be just like a lot of books as well. Obviously, just another thought as well, this is going to be a 1-bedroom house. Obviously, it's very big. If you wanted to make this into a 2-bedroom though, for example, you could very easily just split off this entire section here and actually just split it down the middle there and make it less open plan. You would still have an open plan walkway over here, but if you see here, if I were to split this down here and then literally just split it in half, that then gives me a double bedroom there. I could actually push it like one more over as well, but that would give me a double bedroom there and it would give me another bedroom there. So if you wanted to have it less open plan and have more bedrooms, then the abilities are there just because the room is so big. So think if we go ahead and add a case there, we can then add in maybe some plants either side and then some comfy seating. These ones look really cozy and actually fit in with the sofa that we've already picked over there. So think if we do one there and maybe one on this side, or we could just do 2 like that. How does that look if we move this over one? Push this chair a bit more into the corner. Yeah, I think that works. We can then have some sort of curtains going over those there. I realized we didn't put curtains on either of them either, so we should go back and really do that. Obviously, we'll have to put curtains on this higher up one as well, which is going to look a little bit odd. I guess we could just leave it open, but I just think it'll look better. So I think the best, like the cutest ones to go for seem to be these ones that are like already hung up, and that doesn't take up any room either. I think I will like sort of cross them over though, just because it doesn't look too bad and it does then make it so that it reaches the floor. I don't think maybe we actually have these ones be completely closed just because they are higher up. It doesn't really matter. Then at least it looks a little bit different as well. This rug is actually absolutely adorable, so I'm really tempted to use this one. Or there's this one that's got a few little dots as well. I just want like a round rug here, I think. That matches a bit too much with the colours that we've already picked. We do have these sort of spiral looking ones. I don't know, maybe that kind of works. I just really want a round rug and I don't think any of the other ones come in the right colour. Yeah, I think that round one kind of works. You can then pick this sort of round looking sort of lollipop light. It looks like the shape of a lollipop, just a bit flatter. Yeah, so I think that kind of works. I think we just need a bit more decoration over on this side. I said I wanted some plushies in there, so let's see if we can find some plushies that we can add in that corner. Do have this cute little bunny. I think we do need some in like a slightly lighter blue. I want to put him there, but he's very much in way of that big pillar. If I put him here, it's a little bit better if I make him smaller. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. We can also add some plushies over this side. A little cat toy. I think that looks really cute already. We do have just like this sort of blank empty space over here, which I'm not really sure what I want to put there. I'm contemplating actually changing this section over here for this one, because this is actually so much cuter. Like, I know it's got that brown to it, but it's got also all of these nice bright colours. I think this is actually a Pride set. Yeah, it is. So we're going to go with the trans one just because the trans colours fit so well in with what we're doing at the moment. I'll then slightly change that wood so that it matches that wood up there, and that looks much better. There's also this really cute shelf, which is like a little cloud, and I feel like that looks really nice if we add maybe some plants or something to that. We can add like this little plant on here, or we could add like a little flower maybe as well. Oh yeah, that's really cute. So we can add like a little rose just onto the top of there. And we do also have this little basket of toys, which I think I'm going to add there just for a bit more clutter. And that's looking really cute so far. So there's our living room sorted. We can then move over to our kitchen, which this is actually a very decent sized kitchen area. I think it looks really good for the size. I think our curtains can be slightly different in here just so that we're mixing it up across the house. I think for this one, weirdly, this one works. Obviously, it's a little bit more old fashioned, but I think it does kind of work for these windows. And I don't want to cover them up too much because these are also the only windows other than the one in the door that we have in this room. So this is the area I think I'll put the dining table just because it's right next to that window, so you get all of that nice light and you get the nice view out of your front porch as well. I think this is a really cute looking dining table, like sort of the cover for the table. It fits in almost with the same kind of color palette. It's a little bit darker, but I think that's fine. Then think we can go with these little sort of light blue chairs. The rounded style just looks like really nice in this. And then over this side we can do our kitchen. I am partly tempted actually if we remove 2 of these chairs and just make it a 4-person table, we can then do a breakfast bar as well just right next to it. And I think that'll look pretty good. Part of me is tempted to actually just make this white just because I think it looks a little bit too dark for that pink tone that I'm after. And we'll just put some little decorations on the table just to make it feel a bit more used again. I think we can pull in actually a slightly different color. Maybe we do green and pink. I can then change, I can't really change these to green because unfortunately the green one of this doesn't really work. It ends up with changing the whole color of the seat behind it. We could maybe change the chairs just because I really like this light color of green that we've got here on this cabinet. So let's maybe change up the chairs. We can get like some lighter green chairs instead. These ones do kind of work. They have yellow on them, but it sort of works. Are there any other ones? I don't want to go too modern with it, and a lot of the ones that are green here are like way more modern, like these ones. But I guess they do blend in with the color scheme, and the table's quite modern, so maybe we just change that picture because the picture I picked was like definitely not modern looking. I feel like that's fine, but we have like now got the issue of those curtains did not work. I think we'll have to just go with the same white sort of hung up curtains that we did in the other room, which is fine. They didn't look too bad. Yeah, that still looks pretty cute. That then does allow us to use this picture, which has a few more shades of green in it and just makes it look a bit nicer. I've laid out all my counters. I think I'm going to do a little bin in the corner there. Just do a little white oven. I think that looks pretty cute. We can then add in our fridge over in this little gap over here, so that at least that little gap is actually being used. We can put maybe like a little bit of something on top of it as well, just to add in that extra bit. We do have all of this back space as well, so I'm trying to think about what I want to actually decorate. I can't put anything on this end one, or I guess like this. I guess I could put some things in that corner. I just got to make sure we have enough space to actually be able to do some cooking. I think we'll just do some shelving instead of doing like the actual cabinets, just because I think it will give us a bit more like space. Otherwise, I think it'll make that kitchen feel like really small. Now, do we get any sort of light pink seats? Because that would be probably perfect for this. I think these ones might work. Yeah, they work. Similar shape to the other ones that we've picked as well. We do also have all of this space on this side as well, so we do actually have quite a lot of space in here. So I think we can include things like this as just extra storage, and of course it's got like the plates and everything in it as well. This is a really cute little like side table, so I feel like I just need to include this in here. It just looks so nice. It's a shame that it's got like the wooden legs to it though, just because that doesn't really fit in with the room very well. I'm half tempted, actually, maybe I could use it in a different room, because it's really good, but it doesn't fit in this room particularly well. So I might put it in maybe the bedroom. I think it should look really good in there, maybe with the TV on top. Something like this, I think, works in this room a bit better. The cute little aprons, which we'll just put above that bin there. Yeah, so I've added a few little bits of decorations just to our kitchen. I think we can maybe add like a couple more, but I don't want to overdo it with our kitchen just because it is quite a small kitchen. I don't want it to feel like it's like really overwhelmed with stuff. I think this little chicken sitting on all the eggs is quite cute. We can do it in, I'll probably do it in this like creamy color just because it looks a bit better. Then let's go over here and just work out some clutter for this section. I think I'm just going to add a few of these random items to this table. Yeah, that looks pretty cute. I like the pictures that are just sort of leaning against the wall there. I think that looks a little bit more unique than just placing some random items on the table. And we can also put some mugs as well. It kind of goes through the picture though, so I'm not really sure how much I like that. I think it's alright. You can't really tell. It just kind of looks like it's also leaning against it as well. Put a tea set maybe up here so that it looks like that's just where it's being stored before it gets. So I think our kitchen looks good. Maybe I want just a rug, like a runner rug down this side. Something like that. That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. That looks nice. So I think that's our kitchen sorted. We can then move upstairs. Oh no, hang on. We missed our little tiny bathroom. Almost completely forgot about that. This is literally just going to have a sink and a toilet in it. It's going to be super simple because obviously our main bathroom is all the way upstairs. This is just so that if our sim is in the kitchen, they don't have to climb all the way up to the second floor in order to actually use the toilet. So just going to go with a few little items. It doesn't need to be super extra. Just go with little hand towel, sink, toilet. Then maybe we add like a mirror or something on this side. Yeah, we'll just go with like that mirror on that side. Then maybe even just a very small rug just in the middle part here. Yeah, I think yellow maybe. Yeah, that looks cute. Cool. So there's our downstairs bathroom. We can then move upstairs to our bedroom. Now this one is obviously quite a big bedroom. It's got two balconies as well. It's got one off of this side and it's got one, just like little one over this side. So obviously the first thing I kind of want to deal with is those plants underneath there and just make sure that they're covered up. So I think we could just do something like this under there just to cover it up. It doesn't need to be like super usable, but just something there so that it's covered. These are also super cute, but I don't know if they're going to be big enough. Yeah, they're not really big enough to fit under there. It fits surprisingly well there. How bad does that back section look if I just get rid of that? Because it is kind of ruining it. It doesn't look too bad. Yeah, I think that looks fine. We don't have to put that bit in there. That then allows us to put in this perfectly shaped like storage unit underneath the stairs. There is this cute one that's got like loads of animals on it, but I think the animal one doesn't really fit in with the color scheme very well. Do you think a little rug just as you get up to this little midsection would be perfect? So I think that one looks nice. I think this bit over here is actually perfect for a desk, just because we can then look out across the front of the view, like from the front of the house, which just works a little bit better, I think. I think this one kind of looks the nicest. We'll do a white computer just so that it matches with the vibe that we're going with. Then do this light pink chair. I think that looks pretty good. I don't want to make it too cluttered in that area. Maybe just add like a few of these little perfume bottles just at the back there. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. Now I am thinking fairy lights for this room just because I think that'll look really cute and it'll just add into that whole room. I'd really like these little star ones, so I think we can have those going all the way across this back wall here. That'll also add in like a little bit of more warmer light as well. Now there's a few different beds that we can pick. I actually really like this one just because it matches the fences that we picked around here. There is this one, but it's a bit too bright, I think, for this room. I'd rather it be like a bit more desaturated. Now I'm trying to decide on where I actually want this bed. I think having it closer towards the stairs might work a little bit better. Or if I had it over this way, maybe I could put some more surfaces and storage and things there. It's also right next to these doors, which I think is a bit nicer. Then we've got our wardrobe off to the side here. I think we can then do... I'm trying to work out where I kind of want everything in this room. I think we could actually have like a little makeup table somewhere as well, and I think that should look quite nice, like a little vanity almost. Tempted to put it like here, but then obviously we don't really have the space for this wardrobe. I could make it slightly smaller though, then maybe we could put it over here. Or to be fair, that is also a wardrobe, the little like storage boxes, so I don't really need like another wardrobe. Ooh, this little star mirror is literally so cute. Okay, I think I need to use that one. You can get it in a few different colors and none of them like totally match like what I was thinking, but I think I'm gonna have to. Maybe we do it in this one. I think that tone kind of works the best. Now I'm just adding in a bunch of decorations to this little vanity that we've created here. I'm having to like sort of maneuver them myself just so that we fill it with loads of different pieces of clutter because the table will not allow us to add as much clutter as I wanted to add. There we go. That's as much clutter as I wanted it to add. Just like a lot of clutter. So it looks like it's just proper being used all the time. Okay, then I want that little sort of side table thing that I noticed before that we wanted to use in the kitchen, just because that was like really cute. I think it was this one in this like light pink. Yeah, that works really well in that space. I can move the door over a little bit. It gives us a bit more space for that. That also gives us space outside to be able to put a chair there. Just gonna put that there. This is a really cute rug, but I think it is just slightly too dark for the space. And I don't think any of them really go light enough. I think the white maybe goes a bit light enough to be able to use. I wish there was like a fluffy rug. I think that's what it needs right now. I can maybe use this one. This like dotty one is quite cute. I think this that I used, it's a bit too, it doesn't really fit. What other rugs are there? Oh yeah, there's like these ones. That kind of works. It's a bit more modern. Maybe have a little flower, and then I think I want some books next to the bed as well. Yeah, that looks nice. Then I was thinking like a bunch of posters and stuff just sort of scattered above the bed as well would look quite nice, just because then it looks a bit cuter, more like teenagery. Just want to make sure they're all also the same, like the right color palette as well. I don't want to change up the color palette. I think that looks pretty good, just a few little pictures. Then maybe we can have a slightly bigger picture above here, something like that looks pretty good. It's got the same sort of nice colors as well in there. Then I think we need like a bunch of soft toys as well, just sort of scattered around. I think that's going to make it really tie in with the rest of the house. Maybe we have this cute little unicorn just pressed up against the bed. Can have, I know it might get in the way, but we could put a plushie on the bed as well. Maybe like this little pink one. Really like this little cloud lamp as well, which I think we can just put in over here where it looks like it's a little bit darker. I think that bedroom actually looks really cute. I think that's pretty much it for that room. So let's go up and sort out our last room, which is going to be our bathroom. Now for this one, because we did move the stairs over, we do have this weird little gap, which I'm thinking that I might just add in some plants or something into there just to fill it in. We do have quite a lot of windows in there anyway, so it does kind of make sense. Maybe we just do these little rose bushes. They're really cute. Yeah, that looks really cute. Cool. So we've got little plants in the hallway there. That then leads us over to our bathroom. I think we can have our toilet here. Thinking we can put the toilet in this corner here. I want to do like a little divider just so that it has like a little bit more privacy. Obviously it doesn't need it, but I think it makes sense for the rest of the room. If we're going to have sinks on one side and the shower on the other and the toilet in the middle, it makes sense to like section it off a little bit for some reason. I'm just going to section it off with this little window here. Then I think maybe we put our bath right at the end over here. We can do like this nice light blue one. Then maybe we can just have a long row of sinks that go all the way across this end. We can use the same cabinets that we used downstairs as well. Then obviously we can put in some dressing gowns as well, and we want some towels. Luckily we can get the towels in these nice pink colours. I think I'll do pink and obviously the light blue. We'll do one under the other. Same with the two dressing gowns, we've got light blue and pink. I think it'd be kind of cool to have some sort of bigger mirrors maybe in this room, so we can maybe do a couple there. I think it makes it feel a little bit more modern. I think I'm going to add one of those little laundry baskets as well. I don't think I particularly want this thing. I was going to put it there, but I think it just kind of takes up a bit too much room. Move these two over as well, so they're over the washing basket. You can have a little pink bath mat as well, just as you get out. At the sink over here, I'm just literally adding just a few little touches. I think maybe we can have some more towels, and then I'm just going to add a very small plant to the top of that. I think that looks really cute. So there's our bathroom. I don't think there's anything else I particularly want to add. Bathrooms are better, I think, being kept like a little bit simple. So I think that's everything. That's then our cute little house pretty much done. I'm just having a quick look around, see if there's anything else. I think the only thing I can think to add is I kind of want to do like steps that lead up to the path over there. So I think I'm going to do that. That shouldn't take too long. That's literally just a few little steps from the debug that are just going to take us to the road. I think I'm just going to use these ones. Just going to place those very random, sort of scattered around, that are just going to lead us all the way up to that road there. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better. And there we go, just added a few more bits of details, and there we have it. I think that this came out looking super cute. I'm really glad with the way that it looks. I think it doesn't even look like it's really using Basegame. Obviously there's a few items that people know specifically as only being in Basegame, but I think that because of the recent updates with a few more items, as well as being able to put things like plants on top of the roof, it really does look good, and you can make some really good things in The Sims now using only Basegame. I think this looks super cute. I really like the two different levels and the fact that you can see the living room from the bedroom. I also like that each room feels very large, even though the actual house really isn't that big. But let me know what you think of this house in the comments below, and be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe as well if you haven't already. I try to post content as regularly as possible. That's normally a couple of times a month for long videos and more regularly for shorts. If you enjoyed this video, there is another recommended video on the screen now, so you should definitely check that one out too, and I hope you all have a great evening.